Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Jay Encarnacion, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are thrilled to have Maria Gracia, the CEO of Golden Circle. Maria brings a unique blend of expertise in venture capital, an MBA in entrepreneurship and innovation, and experience as the co-founder of a medtech startup, SC Rise. Based in New York, Golden Circle, founded in 2024, is transforming how early-stage startups, especially underrepresented founders, access capital and connect with investors. We'll be exploring her founding story, how her business empowers startups in the fundraising space, and her vision for scaling this impact-driven venture. So let's dive right in. Maria, welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you so much, Jay. I love the intro.
Well, thank you very much, and I appreciate having you on this show. So let's start at the very top here for our listeners, Maria. Take us back to the beginning. What specific problem in the startup fundraising landscape really inspired you to start Golden Circle?
Yeah, sure. So when I was on the investment side, I worked for different venture capital firms in the Middle East, in the States as well, and I kept seeing the same mistakes all over again. So you have incredible early stage founders, especially from Latin America or like underrepresented backgrounds, and they were building incredible products,
Hmm.
but they often struggle with fundraising, especially because they thought that this game worked in a different way.
Right.
So they definitely did not know how the rules of the game and how it's played. So that's why I created the Golden Circle. So I could bridge that gap and level the playing field.
I love it. I love it. So, I mean, with that, and you just kind of getting into it in 2024 with Golden Circle, talk to us about how it's evolved since you first launched. So, from what you're providing to who you're serving, how's that changed to now?
Yeah, so it started quite organically. So I was working full time for this investment firm, and I started taking some founders on the side, right? And I was like, okay, I'm gonna build this and let's see how it goes. So my very first clients, they were actual friends that were interested to know why they got rejected
Mhm.
for a specific venture capital firm. And so I had no process, no framework, no nothing.
Yep.
It was just me providing advice. And now I have frameworks. I have a very clear ICP, who I want to bring with me, what type of services I want to provide, I can provide, and I feel comfortable with, and what other services like I feel more comfortable just sharing with other partners. So it, it has definitely changed a lot.
Gotcha. All right. So, I mean, with that in mind, let's get into the nuts and bolts, especially for our listeners who can end up coming to you and being clients of yours. Talk to us about how you're generating revenue today. So, who is your ICP? What is the core offer? How is it structured for your clients? What does that look like overall?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So I work with early stage venture cap backable startups, which means they need to have some sort of traction. They need to have validated product market fit, MVP. So I like if it's like a I don't know, a mom and pops or like a more traditional sort of like venture, I might not be the best fit for them. So what I usually do, I have a 30-minute free assessment call in which I meet the founders and I'm very honest when it comes to the feedback of like, hey, you're venture backable or you're not. So that allows me to understand what sort of founders come to me and see if there's a fit right there. And based on that, what we usually do is a diagnosis session, which is basically just 1 hour deep dive into their data room, investment pitch, or whatever sort of material they might have. And based on that, I provide this roadmap of things that they might need. And it looks and feels sort of like your first VC interview. that first call that you get on when you have a founder applying to receive money from a venture capital firm. And it's quite valuable for them because I often talk about, hey, like, tell me about your IP or legal stuff, right? I cannot support them with that part because I'm not an attorney, but that's something that they should take into consideration. So after that diagnosis session, the scope becomes quite clear, right? And the needs are even clearer. So that's how it goes.
Beautiful. So essentially you are a consultant for those founders that are looking for that money from venture capital funds. So you provide the fundraising strategy development, investor outreach, and really just helping them get to that goal of getting the money from the VCs there. So I mean, just incredible on that front, what you're able to provide for your clients. So talk to us with this niche. What's working best for you right now, Maria, for new client acquisition? How are you acquiring new clients consistently? Whether it's referrals, word of mouth, ads, social media, organic, what does that look like? What's working best?
Definitely referrals.
Yeah,
Like my clients, they come to me through past clients, through the VC space, through my content on LinkedIn as well. I usually don't engage in outreach because I'm very picky on the type of client that I want to bring in. Because this is, yes, it's a consultancy type of work, but it's a lot about companionship as well. So I'm truly rooting for my founders. Like I'm there, like of course I offer different type of services, but one of them is fractional fundraising support, right? So it's time intensive. So yeah, referrals for sure, internet content, and I travel a lot
a
as
lot of
well. So
interest.
New York Tech Week, San Francisco Tech Week, Miami Tech Month. I'm going to Madrid Tech Week,
Wow,
London Tech Week, Mexico, and those are the ones for this year. Oh, Lima Tech Week as well. So I'm usually very like out there exploring founder communities and being very present and generous, like
incredible.
with time, with speaking opportunities or mentoring as well.
Gotcha. So, I mean, talk to me a little bit about, because of course I have so many founders on the show who also see a lot of success with referrals, right? But the one thing that they do bring up is that obviously it's not predictable, right? So you don't really know how, when you're getting clients, when they're coming in, when they're not coming in. And obviously you're doing a lot of in-person, which can help on that front. But how are you thinking about scale and growing the company and really going about that? And then also with your time, being that you travel so much, how do you split that with doing the fulfillment side and providing the services for your clients? How do you configure that in your mind right now?
It's a real challenge,
Yeah,
right? Because I am a remote first type of person, and I feel more comfortable when things are I used to feel more comfortable when things were like online, but there is this sense of like trust that is built when you see the founder face to face, and especially with referrals. The way that I approach this is, of course, many of them they come because they've met me through one of the past positions that I had or that I held in different venture capital firms. But some others, they come to me because they were like, hey, I saw you given this talk and you
yeah,
felt so passionate about this particular problem. So I was born and raised in, I don't know, insert country.
yeah.
And what you mentioned resonated with me. And so I usually try to make things feel quite warm. So that's why most of my frameworks or the way that I've scaled this is by doing things that don't scale, like Paul Graham often says. So like my very first emails and the way that I follow up with people were like, hey, like I saw you did this because I went deep
Yeah.
and stalked them on their like LinkedIn page. And that's the way that I've been able to grow. So Golden Circle started 9 months ago, and I've had clients in Congo, in Senegal, in Europe as well, of course, across the US, in Latin America. And it's not because, for example, my client in Congo, it's quite funny. I was in San Francisco for San Francisco Tech Week. I was doing my thing, the unscalable sort of thing. Someone remembered that. And then I was in Lima, so
Wow.
random, Lima, Peru. And I got this email from them, and they were like, "Hey, we saw that you're building this, and we would love for you to help us in our fundraising journey." And I was like, "Sorry, I cannot. I know nothing about the African ecosystem. Like, I am not well connected there. I honestly don't think that I'm gonna be like able to support you in your round." And they were like, "No, but you're talking about streamlining the fundraising process." That's my tagline.
Right.
"We want that." I was like, "Oh, okay." And that's how things evolve in different countries. And now I'm giving Europe a go because,
Might
um,
as well. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
if you're seeing that kind of
And
success, definitely might as well keep going at it. I mean, so just incredible there. So, I mean, Maria, is this something that you're doing just fully on your own? Do you have any help as far as like a sales team or a marketing team, or is it really just the Maria show right now?
I would love to say that it's just me. Most of the consultancy work is just me. I have an incredible support system that supports me with operational stuff, like the scheduling or the organizing of trips. I rely a lot of like on interns,
Okay.
and I was lucky enough to have an amazing mentor, my sister.
There we go.
So she comes from the corporate world and she knows all the best practices. So sometimes she comes along on trips and she's supporting me in that sense. But my rule is to have pretty much all of my clients, they have me. And of course, they get operational support from my staff, but it's mostly like consultancy is all about like someone's brain, unfortunately. So that also opens a lot of opportunities to improve, right? Because there is so much you can do by yourself.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I'm curious with that and how busy you are and how much you're moving around. Have you thought about running ads that are significantly more personable to get more of that consistency on that lead gen side? Or like, how do you approach that and looking at that when it comes to growing and scaling?
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely on the roadmap. Right now, I'm just really truly focused on getting very interesting stories out there, helping my current clients to raise well-known or like interesting sort of rounds. I usually say interesting instead of big because
Right.
it's not only about the numbers, it's about like who's in your cap table,
Yep.
right? But that's definitely out there. I have great support when it comes to AI tools. I use them all the time.
Yep.
And there are other things in the making as well.
Okay. All right. So we're rocking and rolling towards scaling and growing the company, which I love to hear. Just everything that you're doing in the space is incredible. So point to us a little bit about what you're thinking about as far as a bottleneck goes to growth. Because again, with how much you're traveling, how busy you are, what is a bottleneck for you right now, whether it be lead generation or converting those leads into clients on the sales side or delivering the services and fulfillment with how busy you are? What do you think about on the bottleneck side of things?
Definitely fulfillment, especially for those. I'm a very community-driven person, and sometimes I'm a giver in terms of like, I'm not shy when it comes to providing advice. So some people that are not really my ideal
Right.
clients, they
Yeah.
come to me, perhaps they're very early on, and unfortunately I do not have the bandwidth to serve them or to provide services. So that's why now being forced to create a different kind of like a different tier of services. And that's why my initial value proposition that was very like one-on-one companionship, like this is me and you, like we're on this together. It's kind of like shifting into yes, that exactly that exactly, but also like having this platform, which is basically an online course in which like, founders that are not really there yet are able to get insights, advice, and also learning resources.
Amazing. So essentially, you're creating that online course now to just continue to bolster and grow your brand, essentially on that coaching aspect, right? Coaching these founders to get to the point where they can
Yeah,
work with you in the consultancy. So, I mean, just an incredibly well-rounded opportunity for you and that growth on that side there. So let's go into a bit of your top priorities and kind of your vision for continuously growing Golden Circle over the next year? What are you really focused on? Obviously, I have a good idea with creating that online course, continuing to build your presence. But if there's any revenue targets, impact goals, what are you laser focused on for the next year?
I want to double my revenue. I want to be able to have a more rounded community as well. As I mentioned before, I'm a very community-driven person, but it feels that most of the community work that I do is either on LinkedIn or in person.
Mm.
So now we created the Golden Circle office hours, and I started them like open to the public, and now they're invite only, just because it's sort of like difficult to get meaningful conversations and things truly happening in just 1 hour with different people. So it's really a challenge to shape your community and being able to provide them value and being able to differentiate yourself from other initiatives as well. So that's one of like my milestones, like the things that I am looking for. Revenue, of course, and also integrating more technology into the consultancy aspect of it all, leveraging AI and that sort of things.
I absolutely love that. So I just have one more question for you on this front, Maria, and then we can go into a bit of a lightning round to close out the episode here. But I would love to know, as far as in your mind right now, where do you see the startup fundraising industry and its evolution in the coming years? And what are you doing to really position Golden Circle on the forefront of that evolution?
Venture capital is shifting.
Yeah.
Like the word of VC, it's so fascinating and complex. So what I want to do is I want to be able to support founders in navigating that VC world. And the way that I'm seeing things is that great founders are hard to find. So what I'm doing is preparing founders to be the best version of themselves in a way that investors are attracted to them. And it's more like they reaching out to my founders or like to the founders, right, that are building amazing things, and that they don't feel that there is some sort of like gap or like asymmetry of information. I want to level the play field, right? So you guys are going to come in as investors, they're partners, right? I'm not looking for your money and to succeed. I'm a great company. I want to be better. So I'm trying to change that narrative. So the way that I see it is I see Golden Circle as the on-ramp for emerging founders who want to play and win, of course, the PC game.
Absolutely love that. So just going into our lightning round here, just have one question for you on this front. And this is going to be for our listeners, Maria.
Okay.
So what kind of advice can you offer to our listeners right now? So other founders and entrepreneurs, either just getting out and getting started in their business or in the middle of it and want to have that drive and passion and success that you're having. What can you offer them before we wrap up the show today?
I would say start with something and then simplify it, delegate. Don't rush into a scale before your core offer delivers like real value. That's for sure. And also, it's not so many people they approach fundraising as a numbers game. It's, to me, it's an alignment game, right? It's you're not selling to investors. In a way, you are, but really you're just aligning missions and visions, right? Investors, they have their own investment theses and you have your own purpose for your company. So you're not asking them like for money only. You want a partner that is strategic and that can open doors for you. So don't chase them. Don't chase investors, chase clarity. When your story, your vision, your numbers align, the right investors will follow. So I work a lot on like crafting the narrative that makes this more interesting.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Well, with that right there, that is going to wrap up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. Maria, just want to thank you again. I mean, coming on the show, sharing an incredible journey so far and sharing your insights with us. Truly appreciate having you on. And I know you're going to do some incredible things in this space. We'll be following around on your journey and seeing you grow and succeed. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, which I know so many of you have, as did I, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. You can also check out Golden Circle at goldencirclelatam.com to learn more about their work empowering startups, and follow Maria on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/Maria Gracia-Agurto. For more resources and insights, visit closers.io, where we're dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their growth through trained appointment setters and world-class marketing systems. Until then, keep climbing, and we'll see you on the next one.